that we've got 2 new players on our side tonight who I thought made great debuts, Lady Luck and Fate. When that happens for a Scotland side, you know it's going to go all the way. But we're getting to a World Cup now. There's no other way of explaining it. We don't get luck like that. Why don't we go straight to Fraser? He was there. Fraser, I'm right, isn't I?
You're right. Look, the cleaners are out in the pitch at the moment. They're going around sweeping up what I think is collapsed jaws all around the place. Nobody can quite believe what's just happened here.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I've actually just said James McFadden was the front of the programme today. The picture of his strike for Paris 18 years ago. I think this was equally as much of a robbery job as that night in Paris, and that's saying something. For 62 minutes, it looked like it wasn't going to happen. For 2 minutes after that, it was game over. I think everyone was ready to go up the road. And then out of nowhere, 3 goals out of nowhere. I think it just showed the importance of set pieces to this team. Don't underplay the importance of Billy Gilmore coming on and changing the tempo in the midfield.
We'll get round to that.
And I really hope folk remember that Angus got, a lovely goalkeeper. That save for Angus gone at 2-1 in injury time. Crucial. Just before the put the game to bed. So big moments all went in our favour the night. And you're right, Keith, Captain Lady Luck saw us through in the end. Do you know what? I stood and watched Steve Clark. We're obviously perched just behind Steve Clark in the dugout there. He looked calm as anything all the way through the game. Everyone's losing their heads. He just stood as he does with his hands behind his back, unflustered. His headers flew wide. Balls were cut back across the box. Hampden was losing her senses, and he just looked as if this was the game plan, and he knew exactly how it was going to play out. Maybe it did. It's incredible. All that matters was massive 3 points.
That's what he does, Fraser. I mean, that was a Steve Clark win that you've seen 100 times before, whether it's at Kilmarnock or we've got no right to win that game of football tonight.
Yep.
And in fact, I think he got his tactics wrong. I think he got his team selection wrong. And as you said, he doesn't flap. He then takes off Ben Gannon Doak, and that antagonises an entire stadium because at that point you're thinking he's the only bright spark out there. He's the only chance. He puts Ryan Christie over at left-hand side, makes room for Billy Gilmore, who should have been on from the start, and all of a sudden we're a different team. And by the way, do you know how funny it is, how completely ridiculous it is? It was Ryan Christie that takes the corner, absolutely botches it, shanks it, overcooks it, but then somehow he's the guy that gets into the box to get on the end of it and get the equaliser that started this whole ridiculous chain of events.
Right off the training ground, that, Keith.
I know. Also, as well, it's worth saying that I don't know if you saw it in the stadium, Fraser, but I think he's offside, Grant Hanley. Like there's a long VAR.
To work out how we've managed to get away with that one as well. Big moment again.
I've looked at it again. There, he's offside.
No. There's a Greek defender that's been sparked out and is lying there, and I think his big toe, is just about playing Grant Hanley onside. Honestly, how much ridiculous! I hope I've not used it all up tonight, but I don't think so. I think this is a Scotland side which was nowhere near itself, but isn't it good just to get a little bit of luck for a change? And that tells me that we're going places in this campaign. I genuinely think we could end up winning this group.
Fraser, I know you've got post-match duties to get to. I know plenty of stuff to go on with. But before we let you go, is Keith right? Are we getting to the World Cup?
Well, as it says, after that tonight, I thought this was the kind of, obviously it was a halfway stage. This was a massive, massive test. After what Greece done to us here back in March, I mean, I remember that all too clearly. And after an hour tonight, I thought the exact same thing was happening again. I thought we were dreadful. Keith's right. The tactics seemed wrong. We're standing off them. We're letting them play, and boy, were they enjoying playing. It was awful. But to come through that with 3 points tonight, you've got to think so. I mean, you've got to hope we go and deal with Belarus on Sunday now, and our big players actually get to express themselves, and then that tees us up for an absolute monumental doubleheader next month. Going to that with 10 points, and honestly, the American dream's alive.
Brilliant, Fraser. Thanks so much for joining us in the Hotline Live.
Yes,
guys. Much appreciated. Good luck in the mix one.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Fraser Wilson there, Keith. Good of you to join in.
It's good to see a man happy at his work.
Well, you had 3 of them there because, look, I don't even know what to say about that game. Before we get to that, if you're watching at home and you want to let us know your thoughts, your comments on Scotland's win tonight, please do so, and we'll try and read it out. I've got a few already in, Keith, but they're all in the same vein. Mark says, just off the phone to the police to report an obscene theft in the south side of the city. Though the Greeks would have had made it more difficultly if they had less Olympic divers than football players.
That made it sweet.
Paul says, I never saw that result coming after Greece took the lead. Mark also points out, remember the Pavlovidis sitter in the first half?
Astonishing.
Still trying to work out how he didn't score that.
Astonishing. I mean, that is basically, what, half a yard out from an open goal?
And he's a really good player.
And the ball goes over his laces.
Mad.
Honestly, that there, and I'm telling you now, that's fate. Let me predict something right now. Greece will now go to Copenhagen on Sunday, and they desperately need 3 points to have any last chance. They're almost down and out, but they'll go there with something to play for, and that's huge for us. I'm going to predict that they get a draw in Copenhagen, at least a draw, and that is the result that then sets us up. Because all we need to do at that point, take care of Belarus. We go into the final 2 games. A draw finishes Greece. It's not going to be enough for them. So I think they get the draw in Copenhagen. By the time that we go to play them in Athens, they're out. They're effectively they're playing for nothing at that point, and that gives us the opportunity to go there before Denmark come to Hampden. And if I'm right, all we need to do at that point is just draw the game. So
I think another permutation as well is that if Greece go to Copenhagen and lose, and we beat Belarus, we're guaranteed at least a playoff place.
I don't want a playoff. I don't. We went through that. It was agony. It's too jittery. Let's win this section. We can do it. And I just think that fate has just dealt us an incredible set of circumstances